Good morning, man. How everybody doing on this Saturday morning? Hope everybody had a nice Friday night. Hope everybody returned home to their kids all right. Hope everybody waking up to a good morning today. How I'm doing today? I'm doing good. I'm happier. I feel better. Uh, just another day down on my drug-free journey. What's crazy? I took a drug test the other day, right? And I ain't on probation or nothing like that. I ain't in trouble. But for me to take a drug test the other day and nothing is in my system, that I don't think I understand what I did, right? Because that's hard. Being 37, I've never been drug free my whole life, and now I am, right? This the most I've ever weighed, right? I'm at 190. This the most I ever weighed. I was always at 140, 150, man. I was skinny, wasn't eating, right? Man, and I just, when I think back to when I was using, I feel so embarrassed. I feel so embarrassed. Like, man, but that's what make my journey, that much more, worthy, right? And at the same time, like, I know I'm better than that. I don't worry about relapsing. I don't, right? Because I know I'm done. That's it, right? I've been accomplishing things that I haven't accomplished before since I've been clean, right? So I'm taking it one day at a time, right? That's it, one day at a time. I'm speaking about it, all of that. Something been on my heart heavy, right? And I want to talk about it today, right? I want to talk about these YNs, these young kids, man, right? And we was all young before. I was young before, right? And I resonate with the YNs, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? I resonate with them. I'm 37, right? But I haven't accepted my age and my lifestyle yet. Like I still, like, I stay up on the new music. I stay up on the newest fashion. What's going on in the hip hop industry? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's something a YN do. That ain't something, somebody my age would do. And then not only that, I resonate with the YNs because when I was 15, I committed a crime, armed robbery, and I went to jail, and I got 5 years. I got the most time that they can give you as a juvenile, right? So I always used to tell people, like, man, listen, when you 15, you supposed to be getting ready for school. You shouldn't be in jail away from your family, right? And I remember, the day one of them kicking in my mama's door, right? And from that day, that was in 2003. I didn't return until 2005, right? And then I was on a run. I kept getting sanctions and stuff, messing up. I was young. I ended up going back in '06, July, for a home invasion, and plus it was a new case, right? I got a new case and I got revocated. So, when I went back to '06, I got out in '08, right? And for the new case, I basically got it dropped down. It was a home invasion, but I got it dropped down to entering the dwelling without owner's consent. And that was dropped down to, like, I had to appeal some stuff. They had moved a bunch of time over. A bunch of time to time served, because I was serving juvenile time, right? I was serving juvenile time and adult time at the same time in a juvenile facility, Ethan Allen, Wells, Wisconsin. It's closed down now. It's Ethan Allen School for Boys. So, anybody that know me, y'all know I used to be bad when I was young. I was in jail. Even when I got out, a lot of my siblings, my brother, my little brother, and my little sister, and my big sister, a lot of their friends, they didn't know that they had a brother. They didn't know I existed, right? And I used to always like, wait, what you mean? Damn, they didn't talk about me, But it's just, people, they was living their life, right? And I used to, when I was young and I was in jail, and I used to be in there with older people, I used to always say, man, when I get that age, I ain't gonna be in jail, man. That's the age you're supposed to be at home enjoying life, enjoying your grandkids, right? So I feel like I got that. I feel like I got that jail stuff out of my system at a young age, right? But still, throughout the years, I'm playing Russian roulette with these chances that I'm taking when I'm driving. I'm getting these accidents high off of drugs. I'm crashing into crash cars. I'm hanging with the wrong people. I got drugs on me because I'm using, not selling, and I get pulled over. You know, risky behavior like that, right? And then I seen a lot of my friends, right, when I was young. I lost a lot of friends before I even turned 20. A lot, right? I lost a lot of people. I seen, I'm very familiar with death, right? And maybe I think that's why I use too, because man, I lost so many people. I lost so many good people, man. And I felt like if I wasn't high and dealing with that, it would mess. I didn't feel like I was strong enough, right? When I was, and that's I don't know, we always think down of ourselves. I wish I had somebody there to tell me these things that I'm dropping on y'all, right? And like these young kids, like when I was young, we didn't have to, yeah, a few people had a gun here and there, but, they weren't really pulling it out. We was fighters, motherfucker could get their ass whooped and live to talk about it. Nowadays, man, these young kids, they don't want to take an ass whooping. They don't want to take foul disrespect, foul talk, and then they think that they don't have a place for them. Listen, first of all, I don't care how old you is, they got a place for you. And even if you're young, they got a place for you. The little boy here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a couple years ago that killed his mom over when he ordered something off her phone with her card or something, and he killed her. He shot her, and he was still trying. When he went to jail, he was asking them, is he gonna be able to go home to play with his system that he ordered, or play with something that he had ordered? And it's like he didn't understand the scope of it. Like, you're not going home no time soon, right? And a lot of them, they be, I be seeing in the headlines, a juvenile sentence to 20 years if he breaks down. Like, man, I don't get it, especially if you got your parents in your life, right? And even if you don't got your parents in your life, you should want better, man. Jail, man, nothing fun about jail, man. Listen, when I was in there, they had something called sag loaf, right? In the hole. And that's where they mix all the food that come through the kitchen, they mix it up in one big pot and they bake it, right? And it's like a loaf of bread with all different types of stuff in there. It kind of look like a Christmas cake or something, right? But it's, it got fruit in there, it got vegetables. Man, it's just, oh my God, it's terrible. But you go to the hole, they feeding you that. My dad used to say when I was younger, when him and my mom was together, I used to ask him what they feed you in jail. He'd say bread and water. Like, this is crazy, right? Like, I went to jail when I was young because I didn't know no better, right? But when you're older, you're supposed to know better, And teaching these kids, man. We gotta want something better for our kids, man. We gotta show them a better way than what we know. Listen, my dad whooped us, right? I ain't gonna say whoopings, right? We got abused by my dad, right? Abused, right? When I got older, and I used to always tell myself, when I have kids, I'm not gonna whoop my kids, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I always felt that there's always a better way in raising a child than whooping them and instilling fear into them, right? It's always a better way. Take something away that they love. You're the parent. Right? Take something away they love. Take the TV away, right? But you ain't gotta whoop them. When you whoop your kid, to me, that instills fear into them. And if anything happens, you think they're gonna be wanting to go tell you that? They're gonna be scared of you, right? But when I think about my son Avion, he's scared of me, and I ain't never whooped him. He's scared of my words. I guess because he don't want to disappoint me, right? But we talking about different, if you physically getting a whooping, right? And some of these kids, they hanging with the wrong crowds, and it's not gonna end well. It ain't. It's not. They got a place for everybody, man. Especially for kids. A graveyard, a jail cell, or you can stay in your house and do the right thing like you're supposed to. But and sometimes people gotta learn on their own. I don't care, man. It could be a family, it could be a brother, it could be a son, a daughter. Man, sometimes for your own sanity, you gotta let them be and just let them go. You done tried everything you done tried everything you can possible, right? Now all you can do is wash your hands now, right? And then they still don't even respect that or understand why you washing your hands in the first place, right? They don't even know why. And it usually takes for something serious to happen for them to realize the messed up stuff that they've been doing, right? People out here burning bridges, they burning bridges to their loved ones. Like, it's just wild, man. It's just wild. And I think and seeing in the world that I was in, I was using that as a reason, to use. But I knew the stuff that I went through, I knew like what I got up here is valuable. And somebody need to hear that, right? It's not normal to go to jail at 15, let alone get 5 years at 15, right? And then to keep on doing that. I've been on probation since 2013. I ain't been on. I haven't been back on since. Let me pause. When I lived in Phoenix, right? And I told y'all I was out there doing fentanyl, right? Doing the blues, coming from Milwaukee. I'm out there doing them. I get caught up in some stuff, police catch me with some, paraphernalia, some stuff, they give me whatever, they do their thing, let me go. Months later, I get caught up in another thing, they run my name, and all of this is happening from me using drugs. My negative outlook on things, my fucking, just my toxic thinking, my toxic lifestyle, right? So I'm like, they end up catching me. I go to jail. I see the judge. They give me a year of unsupervised probation. So I didn't been on probation in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I didn't been on probation in Phoenix, Arizona, right? The difference is in Phoenix they have something called unsupervised probation and supervised. Unsupervised probation, basically you just got to stay out of trouble, right? You ain't got to see your PO. You ain't got to check in with nobody. Supervised probation, you have to check in with your PO. You got to call. You got to come see them. So I had unsupervised. So I was able to walk. When I got that probation, I just came back to Milwaukee, right? That's how I was able to walk that. But as far as like Milwaukee, I've been on probation since 2013. So I was on probation. I was in trouble and on probation from 2003 to 2013, and that's it. As far as Milwaukee, like I've been staying out of trouble, right? Staying away from negative, people. And when I was younger, man, I was playing with them guns, man. I was a, what life say? I'm a stick up kid. If you doing too much, I'm coming to get it. I'm telling you, I was living like that. And I was, man, you see a picture of me, you'll be like, for this puny dude, he ain't doing nothing. All right. All right. What that's like a thief in the night. I take anything but some pussy, right? But I had a rough life, right? And I brought it upon myself, right? My life could have been easier if I made it easier. I finished school. I got college education. I've been to college so many times. I'm finna get ready and go back, right? Because now I feel like, I'm clean now. I'm sober. I can think clear. I'm in a better space right now, I think I'm ready to go back, right? And, I'm going to give it a shot. And, okay, so, as I'm making these videos, I'm going to be dropping jewels, different topics and stuff, right? So, I want to talk about this big U stuff, right? Now, I like talking about stuff that you can learn from, that anybody can, that I can learn from, anybody can learn from, right? And that could be a learning lesson, that rolling 60 indictment, the big U, brick baby, loose cat, all of that could be a learning experience, right? And you know, if it's put in front of the right people, they can actually learn from it, right? Because these guys was going on interviews, going on, like, they was doing this stuff, right? And you know, somewhere down the line, Big U forgot the #1 code, right? He forgot the code of silence, right? He was letting too many people know. And you know, I did a little research yesterday, right? And you know, when I say I did research, you know, I do extensive research. You know, my facts are backed up 100%. I ain't never finna tell you nothing that I think or something that I heard. I'm always gonna tell you something that I know. So Big U, he caught up in the New Jersey indictment, right? With the Rolling 60s out there. And it's some videos out there that you can see. I ain't gonna post them, you know, I ain't gonna post no link on the description, but you know, if you comment, you know, I'll tell you where you can find it. But there's video of Big U in New Jersey, in St. Louis, and in New York with the Rolling 60s out there, right? And basically he's doing, you know, Big U is he's the big dog. So, you know, he going to these people and, you know, they praising him. You know, you could tell like he, you know, he running the Crip, the Rolling 60s Crip card on the streets. You know, he running it in each state. You know, New Jersey, they got their own indictment going on. You know, TSF Surf. You know, he in the feds. Big U caught up in that indictment. You know, Big U the only one that didn't go to jail from that. So that should tell you right there. You know, and people don't know. Just like in Milwaukee, I know some snitches in Milwaukee, and they still sell drugs, right? You got to be worried about who. You got to be where. You got to be. You got to be careful about who you deal with, and that's why they say, man, you shouldn't even be doing that in the first place, right? If you're doing what you're supposed to do, that wouldn't even happen. It just wouldn't happen, right? Man, I got a cousin. He in the feds, 42 years. I know some people, you know. My cousin, the same one in the feds, he in there with R. Kelly right now. You know, I ain't gonna say his name, but you know, he got 42 years in the feds. I have family members that has been on the news in serious cases. I'm not gonna say it because the stuff that some people in my family has did to people, you know, some people might look at me different, even though I'm not the one that did it, right? But you know, the people that my family did this stuff to, you know, they got loved ones, you know, they got family. You know, I ain't do it, but you know, I get it, right? So I ain't gonna, you know, put nobody business out there like that. But man, listen, the jail system or fed system is bad. It ain't no place for that. Ain't no place for nobody. Nobody being in jail away from your family. That ain't no place for nobody. Nobody. You know, I hope if I can, you know, if something in my story can pass or reach one person where they'll listen, I'm cool. And you know what? Even if I get one view on all of my videos, right? One person that watch, I'm cool, man. Long as my ears reach one person. And listen, I don't care if nobody watch. I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up. Listen, I refuse to go back to using drugs. I refuse to go back to the lifestyle that I had, the toxic lifestyle of me using every day. I refuse to go back to that. I refuse to give up. So even if nobody like what I'm doing, man, listen, you might as well scoot over and get a sneaker because this is gonna be a while. I ain't going nowhere. Y'all can get used to seeing me. Y'all really can, and y'all will. And like I said, you know, I'm dropping this content. I'm dropping different stuff. Comment, like, share, subscribe. You know, let your friends know. Let your family know. You know, hey, we going up. You know. Hopefully my goals and all of this. You know, right now I'm recording from my phone. Hopefully, like my goal is to be able to one day get me a computer or a laptop, or to obtain a camera and a mic where I can record. I don't have to record in the car. I can find me a little spot in the house, record. I got goals, man. You know, and hopefully, you know, y'all can help me obtain them and reach them, and I can help y'all reach and obtain y'all goals. You know, But I'm praying and I'm wishing for everybody to have a successful life, man. It's our turn. My bad. But yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here though, man. Y'all might get another video from me today. I'm pretty sure y'all would, man. But yeah, y'all have a nice Friday, man. Hey, yeah, tell a friend though. Oh my God, I just said Friday. Oh my God, I'm high already. I mean Saturday. Oh my God, it's Saturday. Look, Rufus over there like, hey, what you talking about? It ain't no Friday. It's Saturday. All right, get your ass out the car with that shit. You know, shit. No, it's Saturday, man. It's Saturday morning. As a matter of fact, today is Saturday, April 12th. It is 6:46 a.m. You know, people are waking up. I might go have me some breakfast. I might not. But I got Avion with me this morning. Well, I'm finna, like, so I'll have him until about 2. So, you know, I'll drop some stuff, man. All right, man. Y'all, you know, everybody take care, man. I love everybody. Peace.